Hello, this is Elias, the owner of Tetherball Coffee, with a review of the new Starbucks Cortados. These have been quite controversial, as in the specialty world, Cortado typically means one-to-one espresso and steamed milk, which, if you imagine as a normal, single or double shot, is like this big compared to this drink, which is at least twice that big. I don't really have a problem with that per se, because a lot of coffee drinks are regional. So in one area, a cortado might be 6 ounces instead of 4, or a cappuccino might be like a texture thing instead of a size thing. A lot of times for the cortado, it comes down to what cups they're using. In Europe, these cup sizes are standardized, so you can get a 4, 6, 8 ounce cup pretty easily. But in America, it's harder to find those exact sizes, so you might have a cortado cup that's really 5.5 ounces, for example, when you're expecting a 4. So for that reason, going a little bit higher on the ounce is not weird to me. And them going a few extra ounces even higher above that is fine. But I guess where I struggle with it is the purpose of a cortado is to clean up an espresso with a little bit more milk, a little hot milk, or you should be able to taste the coffee still, basically. You're not going to be totally bowled over by milk. And I'm in no rush to drink these because they are extremely, extremely hot. I can barely hold the cup. But I'll begin by seeing how they look on top here. So this is the oats one. It's kind of just a foamy mess. You can kind of see that. It smells like brown sugar, I guess. And here's the regular one. Also just, generic foam. Not particularly exciting. Wow. I mean, I can taste the coffee. I'll get into it in a sec. One more thing. I think the other problem people have with this is that once upon a time, Starbucks co-opted the term macchiato. And macchiato and cortado have a similar ratio and relationship in the specialty world. Cortado is normally which is again these ones, is espresso and hot milk, but it's a smoother, maybe you think of a latte milk texture. And a macchiato in that same style is foamier, so it's a dollop of foam steamed milk and then an espresso through that, and the foam kind of just sits on top. So the cortado and macchiato are these two drinks that are kind of just textural, or I don't know, that's debatable as well, but they're these small drinks, right? And one of them was taken by Starbucks and turned into the caramel macchiato, which is a bigger vanilla caramel latte thing. And so at that point, most specialty shops just stopped serving it because it wasn't worth the fight. Even though it's a well-liked drink, the macchiato is so often mistaken to be the Starbucks one that it's just a conversation that has to happen after the drink's been served, and it's just a whole mess. So it doesn't exist that much anymore. And the cortado is still around, and people like it a lot. And now Starbucks is starting to do a cortado. So it's is this going to be co-opted again? Is there going to be more arguments? Is it going to be taken away? And I think that scares people because a lot of people that are working in coffee shops or really big coffee enthusiasts like the cortado a lot, again, because you can really taste the espresso through everything. So it's a black coffee head drink, but it's got a little bit of milk. It's nice. If you're working in a coffee shop and someone comes in and orders a cortado, you can assume they're either a barista or somewhere else, or they're just a fan of coffee black, and that's cool. It's a nice communicative thing. But anyway, Starbucks is in the process of making it their own with these larger drinks. And with all that said, we should try to get started on this. So this is the brown sugar one. We'll try that one second so that I don't have my sugar covering up my tongue. I'll start with the plain one. It feels a little bit easier to hold now. And I can drink a pretty hot beverage, but if I can't even pick it up, what am I going to do? It kind of just tastes like a drip coffee with milk to me. I think the problem here is the milk texture, steaming, because if you really oversteam your milk, which is why this is so hot, it becomes a little thin again, both texturally and flavor-wise. and it kind of waters it down. So like this drink, which is like should be a little bit of coffee and a lot of milk, that milk has been steamed to the point where it's just kind of like watery. Now it just tastes like a watery coffee with like a little bit of milk taste. So it tastes like a drip coffee with milk, and that's you know, you can taste the coffee still, but what I think I would have liked is a little bit sharper, tighter, more acidic coffee with some more fat, milk fat. And while we're not going to get much acidity out of a Starbucks coffee typically, that milk fat is missed. And it's ironic that there's so much milk in here and there's no milk fat, but what can you do? So I guess my hope for the brown sugar version with the oat milk is more milk fat. And I think most oat milks, like the one we make in our cafe, is a little bit thinner than whole milk, so that doesn't seem likely, but who knows? Maybe the sugar will balance the whole thing perfectly in a bow, like with a bow on top. Let's see. I mean, it looks watery. It doesn't, the fat's almost fully dissipated already, which is, I guess, oat milk, you know. It's not real fat, necessarily. It's very sweet. I can't let that give me a bias. I can't be like, oh, yummy, sweet. It's gotta be, I gotta think about this. I think with the oat milk, oh, you know what? Okay, Starbucks uses 2%, right? So maybe that's the lower milk fat in the other one, but it's still really watery. This has fat. Like, I mean, the oat milk is holding up, so it is better in that way, but it almost makes me want a unsweetened oat milk cortado, as it were, because, you know, it tastes like coffee with milk now. It tastes like a little bit of milk fat on a coffee, but it's still like a drip coffee. Like, it's not strong enough. You know, like the cortado is small, so it's like espresso and milk. It's like a little bit, and it's like a punchy, you can taste everything, right? This is all watered down. It's like yucky. I got like basically 2 drip coffees here, you know? That's not what I want for $10. That's the other thing. These are like $4 or $5 each, which is actually really reasonable for a cortado, I think. But because my tasting experience is like a drip coffee, I'm just kind of like, I spent $10 on 2 drip coffees. But no, I mean, it's got espresso, whatever. Also, man, the drive-thru, I don't normally do drive-thrus, and I was idling in that drive-thru with 2 people in front of me for like 15 minutes. And then I hate doing that in my car, like just putting out emissions. And then I'm reaching up like above eye level in my SUV to get these people my card, and what a crappy experience. I did not enjoy that. Anyway, the coffee tastes like drip coffee. It is not sharp and as beautiful and concise as a cortado could be. But I don't know what to say. I think while a regular cortado would be a better drink, or when I say regular, I mean like a specialty coffee shop, cortado would be a better drink that people, if they tried, would say, yummy. I don't know if they're just going to look at it and be like, this is too small, because that's what happens when people order like an Americano on a menu. It says, Americano, only served as 8 ounces, and they're like, this is it? And it's like, well, you know, read the menu or whatever. But, I mean, getting off topic. It was not a Starbucks cortado, not very good, but I don't think it's good enough that it's going to be something people order a lot and replace the regular cortado, the specialty coffee shop cortado. So I don't think we're in danger of the caramel macchiato situation, which that drink is pretty good, I think. So yeah, goodbye.